This is an LA cacophony story. It's different from SF cacophony. All right, so we're talking about cacophony. We're talking about a mechanic. We're talking about a device. And what this device, I instantly recognized when I saw it. It was like, oh, here's this mechanism that creates a template for unrestricted generosity. Now that is a huge statement, right? And this is 20-something years later. I wouldn't have been able to put that in those words at that moment. At that moment, it was just fun and funny. And so I'll tell you a quick story. And it's a story that's in my book, but no one read my book, so you just looked at the picture. So I'll get this opportunity to tell you the story. We took a can of squid and some plastic platters, and we opened the can of squid, and we put the squid, we just basically dumped it out, including the gooey goo, right? And we put it on like these little doilies, right? That I actually got out of a tin of cookies that I had at home. And then we took a toothpick with little green and red frilly fur, little plasticky things like you would use for finger sandwiches. And we shoved them in the squid and put them on a platter. And there was 2 of us, and we're just wearing plain black t-shirts on a hot Hollywood afternoon. We stood in front of Ralph's on Hollywood Boulevard and Vine over there. And we just stood holding these platters up. And people would come by and they would pick the toothpick up and they'd be like, oh yeah. And they would pop it in their mouth. They'd throw the toothpick back on the platter, and then they would, have an experience in unrestricted generosity. You see how that works? It was amazing. So as they were spitting it out of their mouth, some retching and stuff, they noticed that there was other ones spit out all over the ground. And they would get upset, because they just put something in their mouth that they didn't like very much. It was raw squid. And the can of squid was in the middle of the platter. And we said nothing. We were mute. It was mime. Mime is money. And they would be like, what the fuck? And we'd be like, I don't know. Like, what is this? Squid. And they're like, why did you? I didn't give that to you. You took it. You didn't even ask me. No eye contact. You just walked right up to me. They're like, well, what are you doing here? Well, I'm just living my life, doing my thing, What are you doing here? And it's like, in that moment, it's like, okay, I just blew your mind. You just blew your own mind. Or, maybe it's my mind. It's confusing as to where it starts and where it stops. That is a cacophony story.